Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Business Growth Show, where we talk about all components of business and how to utilize them for exponential growth. My name is Athin Cassiotis. I'm a business growth expert where I help business owners grow and scale to create wealth and freedom. And today, I have an awesome guest. She is the founder and the CEO of Author Academy and Sue Kennedy Publishing, with over 3 decades of book coaching, publishing, speaking, and most importantly, real life in the trenches business experience. Her view is radically different. She appreciates and shares with listeners that writing your story is the journey that allows you to access your untapped, forgotten, or ignored passions and energies that will get you moving. And she's sometimes referred to as the people whisperer for a coaching skill that brings out the best in people and is known for a practical, street savvy style. Her fusion of real life stories and her conversational techniques connect with her audience and in an intimate, intense, and individual level. And she provides her clients with strategic, creative, and surprisingly fun techniques to express their hidden genius and tap into the full extent of who they are and what they can become. She shares her success and guides business owners and individuals through a unique 5-step method to find the story within them so they can grow their business and share their journey. Welcome, Sue Kennedy, and thank you for being on my show.
Thank you so much, Athin, for having me. It's an absolute pleasure.
You're very welcome. I'm sure it's going to be an amazing show for everyone watching and listening today. So, firstly, you're a very successful entrepreneur. So, those people don't know who you are. Please introduce yourself by telling us about you and your journey.
Okay, so it goes back a few years now, but I always wanted to write, of course. As a child, you always do. And I had one of those English teachers that said, "You'll never amount to much." And I thought, well, I'm going to prove you wrong. So I did. And then, of course, I had, everything. I had a great marriage. I had a house. I had a beautiful dog. Anyway, that all came crashing down around me, lost everything. And then, fell into a deep depression, which I didn't even realize that I had done that. And of course, wondered what was going on. And then I heard someone on the TV talking in the background, and I went, hang on a minute, that sounds like what I'm going through. And so I went, wow, okay, didn't realize that's what it was. And I actually got to the point of considering suicide. And thankfully, my dogs actually were the ones that pulled me away from that and sort of got me off the cliff edge, so to speak. And I still have those dogs. They're oldies now, but I was so grateful to them because I wouldn't be where I am today without them. And from there, I did a lot of research about depression so I could understand what was going on. And I then decided, well, I should write a book about it because that will not only help me, but I know that I could possibly help other people as well. And back then, there were no such things really as book coaches. I would love to have had a book coach to help me and guide me through every step, but it took me quite a while to work out how to do it. So from then, of course, published another 10 books after that, and now one of those books was actually a book that was how to write a book, because people were saying to me, well, how do you do this? So that's why I wrote that book. And that book actually that really changed everything around, because that's the book that I turned into workshops, etc., and really took off from there. And then I now offer, of course, coaching packages to help people get their books written. So, and I absolutely love it. And the two target audiences that I have are business owners and individuals that have gone through traumatic experiences. And the reason I sort of do that is because I seem to attract those kind of people as well as business owners, because I've been through, like the depression. A few years back, I had cancer. So, I've had a few fairly, large things happen to me. So I can actually really resonate with people that are writing about those topics.
Yeah. Wow.
So in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's a powerful story, right? And I love that, and I can definitely resonate. My teachers, my dad told me I couldn't do things and wanted to prove them wrong, so I love that part of the story. And I got a dog as well now, so it's amazing of what you've gone through, and you're pushing through. So a true testament of that, resilience and keep moving forward. So love that, Sue. Thank you for sharing that part of your story. Let's get into more books now, right? Because a lot of people have been thinking about it, but firstly, I just want to ask, like, what are the benefits, right, to writing our own book and becoming an author?
So for business owners, it's absolutely, I think, vital to really showcase, gives you that credibility. Because I know I used to go to a networking group, and this is a perfect example of that. I wasn't really seen, so to speak. And then when I wrote 3 books in one hit, because I had them to showcase at the back of the room at a workshop I was running. And so I took them in, and I was actually the vice president at the time. And I showed the president. She went, "Oh my goodness, what?" So she actually stood up and she said, "Oh my goodness, look what Sue's done. She's written 3 books." And all of a sudden, the way they looked at me was completely different. They just, after the meeting, they all came up to me, they bought books, they spoke to me, and they actually saw me and had that newfound respect for me. And I went, wow, if I would have known this was going to happen, I would have done it years ago. So it really does help you, cement your credibility in your, especially in your area of expertise. So highly recommended for a business owner. It really is like takes your business to that next level, and it allows you to attract more clients having a book. And then of course on the individual side, for people that have gone through trauma, etc., and this doesn't have to necessarily be just an individual, it can be a business owner, because we all have things that we go through, but for them it's a huge healing process. So even if they don't actually get the book published, it's still a very, healing thing to do. It's just allows you to, because for anyone that doesn't understand, when we keep those, emotions and feelings inside of us, they actually, if we don't release them, they actually turn into disease. So it's really important to be able to release those and be able to move forward in your life.
Yeah, awesome. Love that. Really a lot of benefits and powerful story there with the difference of writing a book. So love that. Really, really powerful. And most people probably been thinking about writing a book or wanting to write a book because, obviously we read a lot of books, hopefully, to improve ourselves at some point in their life, but they probably don't know where to start. So what tips can you give us, if you're like wanting to know, where do we start?
Yeah, so, I mean, first of all, you need to pick the topic that you're going to write about. You need to be passionate about that topic, because if you're not, of course, you're not going to finish it. You'll easily just walk away and leave it and not get it completed, which would be a shame, because I'm sure that, there's a great story within every single one of us. So, and working out, so like, for instance, one of my clients at the moment, they're celebrating 20 years in business. So they're creating that book to celebrate that. So it's, which will be, very powerful for them, because, they've been in business for 20 years. There's a lot of people can't say that, sadly. So it's really, really, amazing to be able to showcase a business that has done so well, and they've won numerous, not even numerous, hundreds of awards. So it's going to be absolutely amazing. But I think that the main thing is getting that, and what is your end goal with the book? Knowing all that will be a great place to start. And then of course finding, someone that can perhaps help you.
Yeah, awesome. That's great. I love that with being passionate about it. Very important, because it can be a lot of pages, right? Or words, right? Like 40,000, 50,000 words. It's a lot. So it's a commitment. Like business is, and a lot of things that we do in life, we should be committing to and helping you know, I know coaching is obviously a way that we can help with the commitment and all of that as well. So let's go a little bit deeper into books now. So you know, because there's a lot of different areas. Now let's say I'm going to use you know, like a book based on, I guess, our story, our area of expertise here. So what key like sections or elements should we like be including in our book as like a base to make sure that we, you know, we're ticking the main boxes in our book?
So what I always suggest to everyone is to do an actual brain dump and just get everything out. And that way, then we can sift through what stays in and what, you know, goes out. And, you know, you need to decide on where you want to start the book and where you want to end it. So, you know, if it's your own story, then is it going to be starting, you know, before you're born, when you're born? Is it, you know, when you're at school, you're a teenager? Like, where is it that you want to start? And then, of course, where do you want to end the story? You know, is it, you know, some people might take it to the current day. Some people want to finish it before the current day. So it just depends on, you know, the story that you want to tell and how much of it. But this is what I'm saying, brain dump it, because that's the healing aspect of it, getting it all out. And then you can sift through and say, well, no, I don't think I want to put that in there, but, oh, that part would be really good. We'll leave that in there. I mean, some people sort of say, yeah, I don't know if I can add that in because my children might not be happy with that part of my story. So, you know, they may not want their children to know certain things. So, you know, they don't add that in, yet it's important to get it out.
Yeah. And like just thinking about, because sometimes we might want to, yeah, include other people, whether it's like in a story or potentially, you know, if we've, yeah, just other areas where we want to include some other people into the book. Maybe they've got some insights, you know, that could be beneficial to the book. So this is something that you think that we should be maybe talking to them about and maybe just getting their approval, whether it's in the story or other stuff, just saying, hey, you happy with this? And maybe giving some examples of what that would be and getting there, so, you know, to adjust it if needed or something like that.
Oh, definitely, yes. And you do need to get, if you're going to be talking about or sharing someone else's story, you need to get their permission, definitely, because you don't want to end up in court over something that could have been avoided by simple, you know, are you okay with this? So
Yeah.
it's definitely, and yes, you need to get them to look over it and be happy with what will go into the book.
Yeah. And is that, just from my sense, is that like simply like an email like response, or is it better to get some sort of like, yeah, release form or something a bit more formal like that, you know, if it was something, yeah, someone externally? What are your thoughts around seeing it? Yeah.
Well, I mean, as far as I know with the law, something that's a written consent, so that can be just an email, as long as you keep the email, of course, because that's in writing. But, you know, if you really want to protect yourself, then, well, of course, maybe get some legal, you know, papers drawn up and get signatures. You know, that really will probably be a very good idea. Like I had a lady that she had written and she had a whole heap of other people's, and it was a book about cancer, and other people had written their stories into it. And she didn't actually want to make money with the book. And she collected all these stories to put in the book. And then a few people turned around. There was only one or two that turned around and said, well, hang on a minute. If you're going to make a lot of money out of this, then, you know, I want money out of it now. You know, I don't want my story in there unless I'm going to get money. And it's like, what? So, you know, you do have to be careful, because people can, like, in a blink of an eye, change their mind, you know, because at first they were very happy to have, you know, their information in there until they started thinking that it could potentially make money.
Yeah, interesting one, right? I love these stories, right? There's, you know, if everyone watching and listening, right, these stories that Sue's sharing with us about different stuff is really powerful. Is where a lot of the gold is to, yeah, predict of what potentially could happen or other people have done. And you know, this is the power of a coach, right? To say, hey, watch out for these things as they pop up along our journey. And you know, a lot of people can be, you know, maybe they get a little bit overwhelmed or they get stuck or something like with writing our book. So what tips can you give us if, you know, we're in that process of, you know, getting through that?
So I do have I do have a writing challenge that's a free writing challenge that you can actually, and I mean, you don't have to sign up for that, of course, but this is something that you could do, is to just get an image, because this is pretty much what it is. It's you get an image, you look at it for 5 minutes, then you set the timer for 15, and then write for 15 minutes straight about that picture. And that actually helps you get unblocked and gets that flow happening again. But the other thing, in my coaching program, I do have a couple of techniques to help with unblocking anything that may be going on. So
Yeah, beautiful.
exciting.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I like that. So, because I think, from my understanding as well, it's a bit about creativity sometimes, right? Like same thing in business. If you're thinking about marketing ideas, you just got to somehow get yourself into that zone. And I like that, looking at that picture, just looking at it, because it just makes you think a bit differently, and then you can, focus on writing. And at least once you get going, then the momentum, builds, like anything from there.
And it could just be a picture that you're going to put in the book as well. I mean, that's a great one. If you feel that other picture may take you away from your story, just grab one of the images that you're going to put in the book and write about that.
Yeah, exactly. Love the tips here. Really powerful. Awesome stuff. And now let's talk like I guess posting here, right? Or during, where a lot of people got to think about publishing options. And I know that there's like self-publish, or you can go through publishers. There's many publishers out there. So what are some of the pros and cons, I guess, of doing each of those methods?
Okay, so good question, because there's a lot of dodgy publishers out there that will take a lot of money off you. And and the thing that really annoys me about these ones is, well, one, that they take so much money off you, but the thing is that they want to then pretty much rewrite your story. And it's like, no, let them have their voice. Like, it's their story. You're not that person. So how can you possibly rewrite it? And it'll lose. I think it's just going to lose that person's voice and their story. So that, I think, I really don't like that people do that. So, and yeah, you got to be really careful. I have so many people come to me and say, I've paid all this money and they've pretty much just like forgotten about me. And I'm like, well, what, they're saying, well, what do we do now? And they've been very disappointed. They've actually, got the book and it's not very good quality. And yeah, it's they've had a really, really bad experience. And so some people actually have such a bad experience that they decide to not even do any more with the book, which is really sad that is what happens to them. So yeah, I just be very, very careful of who you deal with. So I'm half owner of a book printing company. So, and we get a lot of people that come there to get printed because of, overseas, it's done rather cheaply, or it is because, they've been, dealing with some, not so good publishers out there. So be very careful.
Yeah, cool. Good to know. This is why having people around us to make sure we're getting the right people out there, because you don't want to get burnt and lose money for no reason. And I guess there is additional steps, right? Like, we can't necessarily, apart from the publishing side of things, but do the book, all the way myself. There are other people, right, that we need help, especially later on in the process. So do you want to maybe share about some of these other people that we'll need to make sure that our book is ready to print?
Yes. So once you do write the book, of course, we need to make sure that it flows properly and it reads well, that you haven't left any important things out, or you need to take some out, whatever it is. But then the final step, once that is all completed, is to get it proofread and edited. Now, I do recommend that you have a good read of it first. Get some family and friends to have a read as well, and make sure that you get some feedback, and not just, oh yeah, it's a good read. Right? We want more than that. We want constructive feedback. But at the end, the very end, before you do go and get it then the next step after that, you need to make sure that you get a professional to do it so that it is done properly. But it is nice to get other people's feedback first, because the cleaner and better it is before it goes to a professional, the better it is, and the less, you know, you'll pay. Then the next step is, of course, the formatting, like design and layout of it is what has to happen then after that. So having a think about how you'd like it to look. You know, if it's just a novel, well, that's pretty easy. But, you know, again, for businesses, like what kind of book? Like maybe it's a coffee table book for some businesses as well. So you just need to sort of work out how that's going to look and get formatted. And then, of course, once that's done, well, then they design the cover, and then we go to print from there. So, and the good news is my actual coaching packages includes all of that. Well, you can do it with or without that. So
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, because yeah, recently, as I'm looking into these things myself, knew about these things. So it's not just like, hey, yeah, here's a book and just get it printed. There's a lot more steps to make sure that it's awesome. You know, so you know, when people are reading it, they enjoy the book and everything. So thanks for sharing that as well. And you know, what I'm seeing a lot more of now, and I'd love to hear your thoughts around it, is around like this Amazon #1 bestseller stuff that, you know, people are trying to do. So I saw the eyes go a little bit there. So I know everyone's got different opinions on this. So I'd love to hear your opinion, what your thoughts are around this.
Yeah, look, when it first sort of was, I mean, now no one really cares as much now, because pretty much all you had to do was put your book on there, sell a heap, or at least just get people to, you know, either download the free version or whatever, the 99-cent version, whatever, and for you to then show up as #1, and then you could then claim that you were a #1 bestseller. That was pretty much what it was. So it's, you know, but honestly, you really do need to sell lots of copies to become a #1 bestseller. And the other thing with Amazon, and I don't want to say anything about anyone, but a lot of people say, oh, my book's on Amazon, but it's not selling any copies, you know, and it's like, oh, yeah. And I say to them, well, have you told anyone that it's there? And they go, no. I'm like, well, that's why you're not selling any, because Amazon, to Amazon, you're just another product, you know, another number in their system. That's all it is. They don't go through and promote it for you. It's just not what they do. They're just there as a store, and for you to load your book on there, and the rest is up to you. But a lot of people don't realize that that's the case.
Yeah, love that. Love the thoughts around that. Let's delve a bit more into that, right? Because you know, we need to market our book, right? It's like we've got the book now, we need to get it out there, and like you said, need to tell people about it. So what are some different ways or options that we have that we can market our book, you know, and get it out there?
Look, I think that, you know, you need to, of course, do a book launch is a big one, but even going to like coffee shops and even bookstores, you know, asking them if you can have a book signing night, or, you know, because like coffee shops will be happy to have you there, because then people are going to come, you know, into their coffee shop. But not just that, the regulars that are there, they're potential, you know, customers for you as well. So, you know, finding places like that is good. But of course, your socials is important. Having a just gone blank, website, that's what it was. Sorry, having an author website is important too, so that you can, you know, have a place where you talk about you, a bit about the book, have the book there, and you can drive traffic to that website so they buy books from you. Of course, trying to, you know, approach bookstores is also another one, but it's not that easy to get into them, but it's worth trying. But definitely, you know, and then getting any speaking engagements you can. So getting out and networking and asking if you can, you know, be the speaker and have your book there and talk about your book and have them at the back of the room to sell. So there are just some. I mean, there's heaps of different ways, but that's some of them anyway.
Yeah, awesome. Love that. Thank you for sharing. Just shows that, yeah, there's so many areas there to get it out. You don't just make the book and expect everybody to buy it. You got to put in the effort to get it out there. So love all of that, and love a little tip about the coffee shops as well. It's something different too. So I mentioned it before, but let's delve a bit more deeper into it about accountability, because I know, like me being a coach as well, the stats show that if you have someone there helping you, being accountable like consistently, that the chance is like over 4 times how much you get done, right? In that sort of period of time, because you're invested, because you're focusing on it, instead of, oh yeah, I'll write tomorrow, next week, whatever it is, and keep putting it off. So I'd like to know, obviously, how important the accountability is, but then maybe a story or something like that about, or what you've seen with how much quicker, like, that we can get our book completed when you've got the help there.
Oh, definitely. Well, I've had quite a few clients that have been writing their books for like 30 years. And then they come and they meet me, and then of course we get it done, within, well, one lady in particular, she'd been writing it. I'll share this story. She'd been writing it for about 30 years, 35 years or something. And then she met me and she said to me, "Do you do one-to-one coaching?" I said, "I sure do." She said, "Perfect. I need to book a time." And so she did. We got to, we met, and then we met a few times after that. But I think it was only about 6 months, and that we met like once a month or something like that it was. And she got a book finished. She finally finished it because I was there and I held her accountable and, guided her gently along the way to get it done. So.
Yeah, awesome. Really powerful there, and just being there, and then obviously helping with a lot of the questions that we've been talking about today. It's like, well, how do I get it out there and everything like that to make sure that she can do it. So love that. Really powerful. And yeah, I'd love to know from your side, because well, coaches need coaches as well, of course, to help us. So how is important is coaching, mentoring, being for you? What it's helped for you to achieve in your business and your life as well.
Look, Mike, yes, I do have a coach myself, and I absolutely love him to bits. He's absolutely amazing. And I wouldn't be where I am today without him, because he does. He's the same as me, gently guides me and gives me that nudge when I need it, and, shifts my energy if it needs shifting, and just sort of helps me focus and get things done. So, I mean, I'm pretty good on my own. Don't get me wrong. I am sort of a go-getter, and I love getting things done and implementing and all that. But there are times when I just go, you know what? No, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. But he brings me back on track and keeps me moving forward. So I'm truly grateful to him.
Yeah, love that. Very powerful, and I completely agree with with my coaches. I have many of them, and definitely help keep me on track and moving forward, get there a lot quicker, right? Because I think time is our most precious commodity, right? Most precious asset. It's the same thing we all have the most of. And why take 30 years to write a book when you can do it in 6 months or a year, right? Or get your business to a certain point, or your life to a certain point, whatever it is. Why take 5 times as long when you can get it done a lot quicker? So yeah, love that story as well. One thing maybe you can share about is maybe one of the biggest mistakes, or some of them, you see people doing, because maybe, I don't know, maybe you've seen them not get your help and they've put a book out there, or as they've come to you. I'd love to hear if there's anything that's popped up in you that, could actually, be bad, I guess, for doing in your book.
Look, a couple of things I think, and it's not about bad about doing their book, but not finishing their book, is the fact that they don't think they're good enough to do it. And so that self-doubt and self-belief is a huge thing, huge block with a lot of people, that, they don't feel that they're good enough. I get that all the time. Who would want to read my story and why? And I say, are you kidding? Like, people absolutely, like, like especially books around something like the lady I was talking about, her book was about her child that she'd lost to cerebral palsy. And I said, well, for instance, her book, she's written about her daughter and the life that they had, like, while she was, still alive, how they dealt with different things day to day and everything else. And then she also had, gave guidance of what to do. And when they ran into certain roadblocks, she gave, information about how they got through that. And so anyone that's going through something like that, has a child with cerebral palsy or something like that, it's like a Bible, because they then sort of go, oh my goodness, I'm not alone. I thought I was the only one going through this, and they're not. And then they realize that, wow, they aren't alone, and can get some information out of the book that can help them in whatever they're going through, because it's a very, very similar story. So it's very powerful. Your story is powerful to help, even if you help one person, I think then you've done your job. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure you would help many others, but even just one, is huge.
Yeah, I love that. I'm massive on mindset as well, and I love that you shared that, because a lot of time it's just about our belief, and that's the same way I think about it. When we're helping people in business, is if we can just help one person, like we're doing a workshop, or we're meeting someone, we can just help them. It's all worth it, right? But obviously, if we can make a bigger impact, that's even better. There. So love all of that, Sue. You've shared so much amazing gold with us today, and I guess, as we're wrapping up, what one key piece of advice would you like to give to all the entrepreneurs watching this in today?
If you're ready to really take your business to the next level, then I highly recommend that you get a book written.
Love it. Short, sweet, and so simple. And she shared why, right? Of people take you more seriously, and attract a lot more people to you. So love that. Really, really powerful. So get it done, guys. I'll be planning mine. I've been thinking about mine for a while as well. So it's time. 2023 is my year. That's what I'm putting down to myself to make things happen. So yeah, Sue, we connected through our networks where I learned about your awesome journey. Where you help people to write a book, and you're an amazing woman, and I'm sure you continue to guide business owners and individuals to find the story within them. They can grow their business and share their journey. And I'm very grateful that we connected, and I look forward to working with you. So how can people find you, get in contact with you?
So yes, if they hop onto my website, which is authoracademy.com.au, there you can actually there's all the details there of phone number, email, or you can even book a free complimentary session with me there as well.
Beautiful. Awesome. So go check out Sue on authoracademy.com.au and all of that. She'll answer any queries, or check her out. They're amazing stuff that she shared with us today. And thank you to everyone for watching and listening to this show. We talk about everything on business growth, and please like, subscribe, and leave us a 5-star review. You can find me on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as Athin Cassiotis, or visit my website, athincassiotis.com. If you want to grow and scale your business, you reach out to me on any platform to see if we're a good fit. I completely agree with you. Or do I? The only way we know is if you tune in next time. So until next time, remember that our business grows when we learn skills and take action using them in spite of fear. So remember to design your growth and results.